next step in your life? Engineering technology might be just what you've been looking for, with options ranging from robotics and automation, marine technology, biomedical technology, unmanned aerial systems, surveying, and so much more. There is something for everyone. These programs are designed to set you up for success from your very first day. With paid internships in the field as early as your second semester, the opportunities are boundless. With smaller classroom sizes and a high focus on labs with industry standard equipment, you will be on your way to a truly fulfilling career where the sky is the limit. Step into your future with Northwestern Michigan College's Engineering Technology.
And so the beauty of that is it allows you to see a lot of the different fields that are out there. And so what our engineering tech program does is we kind of give you a really broad core with the idea that you can go into one of our specializations. So I'm going to pop open a quick little screen here so that you can actually see what we're talking about. So when we say specialization, it just means something you're going to emphasize in. So for instance, you get really into drones. Well, cool. Then we want you to specialize in our unmanned aerial systems or UAS, UAV program. Let's say that you get excited about healthcare options and you know that there's lots of jobs when it comes to working in healthcare in hospitals or something. Well, maybe the biomedical equipment technician pathway is the best for you, which focuses on fixing hospital equipment, working with patients, utilizes a lot of technology for that work. Or maybe you decide that you like the marine tech side, which we can talk about more. Well, these are all pieces or specializations of our engineering tech program. Now, sometimes when we hear engineering tech, we're not quite sure what it means on there. So, if I'm in ninth grade right now, I'm like, maybe I've heard engineering, I know technology, I don't know what happens when you mix them together. Well, you can think of a robot, like that's what happens when you mix them together. So right there, that's actually a robot that our students built. Those images you saw in those videos, those were all our students and our instructors and our lab space. So we like to use a lot of robots, rovers, drones to kind of emphasize engineering technology because there are electrical systems on there. And so Eng Tech is if you can program it. So if you've done any programming, that's engineering tech. Designing, so you want to design what this rover looks like. You want to design this base plate. You're going to use CAD software to do that on there. And then the electronics. So you want them to communicate back and forth. How do I know that when it hits a wall, it's going to stop? Well, I'm going to have electronics that implement the sensor. I'm going to have the wiring back to some sort of controller. I'm going to have some software program that actually does the thinking behind there. That's all part of engineering technology. And then you can kind of see it. It all scales up into one of the program areas. So here we have this like common core there where everybody learns a base set of skills, electronics, electrical, CAD, that type of thing, some math sprinkled in there. And then we pick one of those specialization tracks. And like Kevin talked about, these are 2-year programs. And so what that means is if you finished up at Kingsley High School, you graduated your senior year, and then that summer you could start taking classes at NMC. And then over the course of 2 years, we could get you through an associate's degree path. If you go earlier, which Kevin will talk about in a little bit, there's opportunities for you to kind of jumpstart that and maybe get through quicker or have additional time to complete an internship, lots of other avenues that we can pursue on there. And so those are what we call our engineering tech specializations on there. I did get a couple private chats that I'll throw out to the group and then we'll address it. Is the first one asked a little bit about what some of the graduates, what you could do with one of those degrees. And so one of the things that you could do right off the bat, if I go back to it, is, you could, let's say you went into that drone specialization, you could fly a drone, right? That's the base level piece that you have. But then you also could do sensor technology or maybe some programming of industrial controllers on there. And so Kevin and I put a couple student profiles in here so you could actually see like what a student would do. And so this is one of our graduates here. This is Stephen. I have 2 Stevens back to back on there. So he worked he was a UAS student, got into drone technology, developed his own autonomous drone systems, and then he started doing sensor development right here in Traverse City for a company called R.M. Young, and they actually made these high-tech weather stations here. And so this black thing here measures wind speed and direction. So it uses ultrasonic signals, so it shoots out an ultrasonic pulse, and then based on how long that takes and the displacement of that wave, they can tell you very, very accurately how fast in the direction of the wind. So this isn't like a weather station you have at your house. This is something that research scientists use. They're actually on oil rigs. They're on some like NOAA, other types of research institutions or institutional studies on there. The space station actually has R.M. Young equipment on there. So lots of different work right here with sensor deployment. He ended up going on to Qualcomm, which is a defense company in California, and he's doing sensor design there. So this is somebody that started out flying drones, got into that computer programming side, and is now working in California, doing very well for himself on there. Another profile is it's again another student, but he's doing something completely different. He's working on these smart appliances. So these are made by Bosch. These are smart home equipment. So they're actually designed to be on a network like your Alexa is. They can communicate with other smart devices. It'll actually monitor things in your fridge. You can have shopping lists. You can plan your dinner menu. It can actually communicate to another Bosch piece of equipment and turn on your oven at the right time, run your microwave, do lots of things. And so what he does with that is he actually worked on the display systems on here and the integration of those into the larger piece of machinery. So he would do stuff like monitor test equipment. So if you're going to buy one of these high-end, very nice refrigerators, you don't want it to stop working after a few years. And so Stephen was the type of student or the type of lab technician that he does a lot of the testing on it to make sure it's going to be working over what we call the product life cycle. So for 10 years, if you want to have that fridge, it should be running. And so those are all skills that those two did. One of the things that they all tied together is these are all systems, whether it was a sensor like Stephen was working on, whether it was a smart appliance, an ROV, a drone, anything like that, they all live within that engineering technology and they can be used for that. So that might be an avenue that you've never even thought of, but we're seeing more and more of that with smart homes, smart devices, smart cars. That'll just continue to expand.
My name is John Luchko. I'm the Marine Technology Laboratory Coordinator here in the Marine Technology program, but I'm also a student as well. The equipment that we're using here is top of the line. We have sonar technologies, we have ROV technologies, we have a giant indoor training tank that we dump the ROVs into and operate. So the students not only get hands-on piloting experience with ROVs, but they also learn the intricacies of the technology. They learn how to fix it, to troubleshoot problems, and industry tells us that that is a huge part of it. Piloting is fun, but it's knowing the system in and out that is the real benefit when you get into the industry. And people really look at that and they say, if you can fix that, you get hired. I mean, that's the way it is. The Marine Technology program also has a 56-foot research vessel, the Northwestern. We're able to take students out from our harbor at the Great Lakes campus right out in the bay. We take the ROVs out there, and from start, emphasizing safety, getting the ROV in the water, and then completing the tasks. Just the ability to get a student out in the real world using real world experiences, and that's the biggest thing, is field work, hands-on, because you can read about these technologies and you can read about operations, but it's when you get out and really do it that is the big benefit.
So that's a 4-year program right here in Traverse City that we have graduates all over the world on there. Every one of our graduates has a job, and the income is really, really, really great.